there Lego fans, and welcome back to another build. For this week's release, we're heading back to the Marvel Universe with the Daily Bugle. A 4-story office building that totals about 82 centimeters or 32 inches tall, and has 25 minifigures, including 5 set exclusives, and that, of course, sounds amazing. This is kit number 76178 at 3,772 pieces, and I'm definitely looking forward to building it. But first, of course, let's get this unboxed so we can get that build underway, and then have a closer look at the Daily Bugle and all those classic minifigures. The Daily Bugle. Architecturally, it's a pretty boring building, being a tall gray and filled with straight lines throughout, but there's a lot going on here, having 4 floors, which would include the lobby, the newsroom, 2 floors of office spaces, and a seat on the roof, which are all easily filled with the 25 minifigures we get in here, over half of them being Marvel superheroes and villains, which I would say is about half the appeal of this kit. Now to break it down so we can get a closer look, starting with the first floor. Right here in front, it's prominently written Daily Bugle right in front of the front door, checkerboard pattern on the ground just in front of that, potted plants to either side, a little fire hydrant right in front, and over on the right hand side, a newsstand, which would of course be very appropriate. It has a stack of newspapers right in front, where the headline prominently reads No Crime, and the whole top can remove quite easily, giving us easy access to the interior so we can get our minifigures in and out, and we can see in the back here some different New York media, and on the cover of a business magazine, Fisk, or a kingpin, probably a sign of trouble a-brewing. Around the side, not too much to see, a little garbage can, 2 crates, and those 2 little Technics holes, allowing you to hook this up to any of the other modulars out there. Around the back, up on the wall, we have an air conditioning unit with a little pigeon sitting on it. Just beneath, there's 2 dumpsters, Within, one has a bunch of what looks like soda cans, and the other has some rotting food, including a disgusting green hot dog. A little further over, we have the emergency exit with a lamp on the wall right above it, and in the top right hand corner, there's a spider web, which you can flip up to expose a hiding spot for a Lego minifig or backpack. Not sure what this is about, so if you know, please put in the comments below. On the fourth side, we've got some more boxes, again having those Technics pins to connect up to Lego modulars. Behind the boxes on the left, there's a little rat, who seems to be staring down the New York City manhole cover, and there's a portion of the wall which you can remove, or rather, you can have minifigures come busting out of it as they're battling epically. Coming back to the front, we find ourselves in front of the front door, which you can open by sliding it to the side. In here, over on the left side, starting in the far back corner, we've got a soda vending machine, 2 more stacks of newspapers, seating for 3, and the other side of that emergency exit. Over on the other side, we have the security desk, which is a pretty nice looking desk indeed. It has clips on either side, one of them holding a walkie-talkie, and the other one having some handcuffs, because I guess they get quite a few problems around here. The security gate is just over to the left. In the back corner, there's the elevator, a table with a few items on it, a newspaper attached to the wall, and up in the top corner, a giant screen TV for the guests in those 3 chairs to entertain themselves while they wait. Up to the second floor, the left side and the front of the building are covered with floor-to-ceiling industrial-looking windows. There's 3 TV screens here, broadcasting different news channels. The first one wrapping around from the left side, the largest being right in the middle, and another smaller one off on the far right. Along the right side of the building, we have one more bank of those same matching windows, and the beginning of the fire escape, which contains the first section, which you can extend all the way down to street level. Around the back, there's not too much to see here, 3 more banks of those industrial-looking windows. And now, bringing it back to the front, here we can remove the entire front facade, giving us full access to the interior, where we find the newsroom. 4 desks surrounding a pillar in the center of the room that has 4 TVs mounted at the top of it, displaying 2 separate TV channels. Each desk has a computer, some with the monitors freestanding, others attached to the pillar in the center of the room, a little break station over on the right hand side with donuts and coffee, a water cooler all the way in the back, and, in the same place as it was in the floor below, the elevator. Up to the 3rd floor, the left and front side of the buildings are again covered with the same boring windows, but these are a little more exciting because the Green Goblin on his little rocket sled is busting through them. Seen here with debris flying everywhere and little explosions from whatever Goblin was doing, he certainly looks like he's going to get away with it. Along the right hand side, we've got one more bank of those old windows, the same fire escape as we saw below, and you may notice that the building is a little bit narrower here. That's because, along the back hand side, we've got a little door here that the minifigs could use to access a patio out here, which is not evident at the moment, but when the building's assembled, it's quite apparent. And bringing it back around to the front, just like the floor below, we can remove the entire front facade, exposing the interior. Within, we have one little office space and the copy room. The office is pretty basic, having a desk with telephone, no computer, a little board on the wall with some sticky notes, Spider-Man's photo up on the wall, a wall which, by the way, is blocking most of the windows, not sure why they built that there, and the copy room, which, of course, has the photocopy machine, and there's a filing cabinet, camera on top of it, pizza box, some other boxes standing right in front of the door that would access the office, not very conveniently placed. In the backhand corner, we've got a stack of newspapers, which these guys would be actually blocking the balcony door access, also pretty inconvenient. And then we have the elevator, which in this case is not quite in the same place as the elevator below, because this floor is narrower. Doesn't quite line up, but given that the elevator itself is only 1 brick thick, we're just going to use our imaginations here. Then above, there's a spider on the wall, and a rather large web. Up to the 4th floor, same boring windows covering the entire front, this time having some little flagpoles jutting out the bottom with no flags hanging from them. Along the right side, exact same thing as we have on the 3rd floor, 1 bank of windows, emergency staircase. In the back, there's a large billboard featuring Mr. Jameson. This one looks like it hasn't been tended for a while because some of the paper is starting to peel off. Above that, there's another air conditioner, this one having a pigeon with a nest. And some more of those windows, which we also find over on the final side of this building. This time also having Spider-Man's little buggy attached to it. I guess it sticks to the walls as well as Spider-Man does. And of course, as it was below, we can remove the front facade to explore the scene within. Here we have Mr. Jameson's office and his secretary's station, which has a pretty nice looking desk facing directly at the elevator, not at all intimidating when you walk out the door, large TV up on the wall, and no additional seating for whoever is waiting to see Mr. Jameson. And then in Mr. Jameson's office, we of course have his desk, stack of newspapers on it, a little filing cabinet in the back, which have some awards sitting on it, a nice large looking geode, his coffee cup, and swinging around to the side, we can see he's writing his email to Mr. Parker, telling him he's fired, which as I recall seemed to happen pretty frequently. And finally, up to the roof, where, of course, it's written Daily Bugle in large letters for the whole city to see. A nice red bugle right in the center of that. A tall communications antenna with several salad dishes around the sides. Water tower. And Firestar blazing by. Bringing it back down to street level, we have one classic New York taxicab. Built 6 studs wide, it has nicely rounded features around the headlights and front hood, a little mirror on the driver's side, antenna on the passenger's side, taxicab sign on the top, written taxi on the sides of course, nice curvature in the rear end with a similar style to the front, 4 taillights, and in the interior there is room for 1 passenger, but he's going to get really up and close to that driver, so no personal space here. Then we have Spider-Man's buggy, which apparently climbs walls. Seating for 1, nice big wheel in the back, slightly smaller one in the front, a little spiderweb detailing on the side, and a nice large muffler in the back. Now we come to our minifigures, where, starting from the top left, we have Ron Barney, Ben Urich, J. Jonah Jameson, aka The Boss, who I absolutely love his alternate face, having a spiderweb over his mouth. Not worth any brownie points, Spider-Man. Aunt May, Betty Brant, Bernie the Cab Driver, Gwen Stacy, and Amber Grant. Now for our second set of minifigs. Again, starting from the top left, we have Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, Spider-Man himself, Spider-Ham, Miles Morales, who doesn't actually have an alternate face, but I thought the spider print on the back of the head was worth showing off, Ghost Spider, Firestar, Daredevil, and Blade. For the third and not final page of minifigs, again starting from the top left, we have Robbie Robertson, Venom, and Carnage, who are each protruding out in all directions as they tend to like doing, Punisher, Black Cat, Green Goblin, and Mysterio. For our final 2 minifigures, we have Dr. Octopus and Sandman, who is seen here both as his individual minifigure and atop the whole structure that he's assembled onto, as it seems bursting out of the concrete. And then back to Dr. Octopus, or Doc Ock, who is my favorite minifigure in this set. I find his 4 arms to be so cool. I mean, they're very simple. There's just 2 pieces repeated over and over again. But through this combination, you can bend them to all kinds of angles and strike all kinds of poses, making them very dynamic and a lot of fun to pose. And that pretty much covers the features of the Daily Bugle. A building which, I'm sure you've heard me say a few times now, I find to be kind of boring. But it does have a lot going on with all these minifigures and scenes to set up, which I find to be the main appeal of this kit. I mean, you have all these heroes, all these villains, all these innocent bystanders. That's a lot of scenes to set up, a lot of battles to create, a lot of time well spent, if you're into that kind of thing. As to this building, beyond its height, I don't find it has that much display value. Unlike other modulars, there's not much style here, but I'm not faulting the creators. The building it's modeled after is a pretty boring building, so mission accomplished. So to make this one interesting for display, you've got to load it up with all the scenes. Personally, I don't find this one really fits into my LEGO city. I know a lot of people have done it, I've seen the images online, but in my opinion, I just don't find it to be a good match. The other buildings are very cute, lots of detailing, nice architecture, and this one, sitting right next to it, is just kind of out of place. So I feel if you want to display this one with all its figures on it, it's best done apart. As to parts to reuse, I mean, clearly you're going to get a lot of windows and a lot of gray bricks. But additionally, there is something pretty interesting in here, because the little detailing on the outside of the building that gives those ridges that go vertically up and down are actually train tracks. A variety that I haven't seen since my childhood sets of the late 80s or early 90s. So if you already have the pieces to make a track with these old rails, this could be a large expansion for you. So if you're like me and you have some of these curved pieces laying around, you can actually make a good amount of track from this, and that's pretty cool. But ultimately, I feel if you're buying this kit, you're buying it for the minifigures, especially if you want Daredevil and Blade, who are exclusive to this set. So whether you're buying them just to collect them, you like displaying them, you want to set up the scenes in this building, you have to ask yourself, how much are these minifigures worth to me?